Welcome back to Responsibly Unhinged. It's your girl, Kylie Kaiser.
Quinn Collins.
And we have another hot girl in the studio today. Welcome, comedian Liz Splatt. What's up?
Hey, dude, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming.
It's a girly time.
Yeah. Well, I love this when people are always like, what are you doing on this podcast? And we're like, we don't really know.
Hey, our best.
Our best. That's
what are we doing? Enjoying a laugh.
Enjoying a laugh.
Yeah, trying our
Believing
darndest.
in love and
Just chatting. When we had Dylan
spreading
on, he said it just
positive
felt like
energy.
he was at organized brunch.
I know.
Yeah. And
I want our podcast to have organized brunch vibes.
we had to edit so much shit out though because he thought he was like that, so he just kept like talking about shit. And then he's like, "Oh, you can't put that on here. Oh, you can't put that on." He's like, "I just feel like I'm just at a breakfast," and I was like, "Dylan, shut the fuck up."
Name dropping
Yeah, he's
too.
like talking shit about all these people, and I was like, "We can't put any of this out."
That's amazing. I hope to do the exact same.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I
But
love
put
to
it
just
out.
edit for hours. Yeah, Liz says fuck them.
Yeah, I'll just
Tag
fucking
'em.
do it.
Tag them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna clip. Actually,
Send it to their mothers.
Any publicity, good publicity.
that's true.
Yeah.
They should be lucky to be being talked about. Honestly.
I'm gonna put my glasses on.
Perfect.
I thought
For
about
cool
texting
effect.
you and being like, she always wears sunglasses on stage, so we should all wear
I
sunglasses.
do. I have. I have
That would
mine.
have been awesome.
I think I
know.
have mine too.
That would have been awesome if everybody came with color. Wait, you don't have yours?
No, I think I do have
I
mine.
do. Mine are like. I still wear the sunglasses that people make fun of though. That are like from when I was probably in high school, like the big like.
What's wrong with them?
bullshit.
Nice.
They're not. They're basic like everything else I own. As in my
Nice.
family cup falls down over here. You know?
Wait, let me see what yours looks like before.
I will say, like, whenever you guys got
you
like
show me
shade,
your-
shade.
If
Mine
you
are,
show
like,
me yours, I'll
shades.
show you
I don't
mine.
have like fun ones. you
Yeah,
know?
I like the colored glasses because it's not dark.
I look like one of the three blind mice in this camera shot over here.
You
That's
know,
like,
I think it started.
it's not good.
I like, whenever Jet Ski Johnson's in town and I'm
Yeah.
wearing my glasses, I feel so embarrassed, like I'm jacking her swag. But
Yes.
so I try not wear the pink ones all the time, but my yellow ones just broke. Okay, y'all look sick. Y'all look both awesome and actually ill.
Yeah.
You look like you're
Perfect.
hiding something.
Yeah,
I didn't wear face makeup.
I did mention
Just
like
lipstick.
Trying to hide it.
when I got here, I was like, my allergies are so bad. Like,
What the fuck?
I wish there was a camera on you right now.
Dude, Josh, you look awesome.
Yeah, why, he looks the coolest
Josh
out of
looks
everyone.
like the Matrix right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Josh, you have to
impactful
do
in
it
the
to us
culture.
like that.
For real.
We might just do the podcast like this every time now. You might have started something here.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is-
nobody can. It's like poker. Nobody can see what you're thinking and feeling, except for me right now.
On the way here, I was literally talking about my allergies are so bad right now that my eyes feel heavy. So this actually made me feel way better.
Yeah,
Nobody has
it's
to
like
look
less
at it.
pressure.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and the light can sometimes make it all feel crazy.
it's true. It's
When
true.
you are on stage in sunglasses, can you see the audience better?
No, not really. Sometimes it actually really fucks it up, and I end up having to take them because I don't like not seeing the audience.
Yeah.
Some people will say that they like
I don't
seeing
like
the
it.
audience. You don't like seeing the
I
audience?
don't like not seeing them.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
wanna. Whenever there's like a light that's too bright and I can't see the like the crowd,
Like,
that
Velveeta's
pisses
lights
me
like
off.
it's like when I'm in there, I can't see shit.
Yeah, or like if you do a theater, like it's crazy. You
Yeah.
can't see more than half the front row. Like it's
Yeah.
a nightmare. And so, but yeah, no, I can see the audience with my glasses. But that's why I don't wear sunglasses like this.
It's true.
Yeah.
'Cause
yeah.
you
These
really
would be a
can't
nightmare.
see.
Yeah.
But things like this where you can kind of see through. But even that sometimes, if the light's hitting it wrong, I typically just go like like this.
Yeah.
And then it's still like I get the fashion of wearing sunglasses without having to actually do the work of wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was a good theater subtle flex and great transition into me wanting you to tell the audience a little bit about you. We don't just bring like a bunch of randos on here. So
Thank you.
Like give yourself your flowers. What are you doing here in Austin with comedy?
I'm a comedian. I've been here for like 3 years, doing stand-up comedy, and we do the Absolute Show here at Black Rabbit.
Very fun.
That's more of a talk show, kind of sketch show situation. What else do I do? I mean, I'm on the road with Tony sometimes. I'm not one of the regulars on Kill Tony or anything, which is who he normally has on the road with him, but he likes me and thinks I'm funny, so he's taken me on a few shows on this past tour, his Fully Grown tour. I'm on the road with Matt McCusker sometimes. Those are my name drops. Those are my big name drops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been doing some cool shit on the Tony shows. Like the theaters you've been at have been really good.
Yeah, they've been really sick. He's been nice enough to let me do all the shows where my family is in different
that's cool.
cities.
Oh, that's
My
awesome.
brother lives in Philly, and so I got to do that. And then that included going on the run of like his Ohio shows, which
Yeah.
he's from Ohio, so I
Right.
actually ended up meeting his family, which was crazy and cool. It's so Italian. It's
Yeah.
literally like so. That's the only way I could describe Tony's family is just like wildly Italian.
Really?
And yeah, I mean he's so Italian too. It's
That's funny.
he's this like cool dude, but truly I think in his heart he's meant to be in a wife beater, smoking a cigarette indoors.
You know, I could see that.
Yeah.
I can 1,000% just see you
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes
Yeah,
indoors.
exactly.
I guess because he does.
Yeah, exactly, because he does. Yeah.
Because you've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen Kill Tony.
But yeah, no, and so I guess other than that, just doing all the shows that I can, what people will let me do.
Yeah. So
But
you,
thank you. Thanks for letting
you
me
obviously,
flex.
of course, yeah. No, always give yourself your flowers. Dude. But you're here now. You work at the mothership, but you were here in Austin prior to that, like, change in the scene.
Yes, I didn't even know that was really going to happen. Well, I definitely didn't know I was going to work there, but I didn't even move down here with an expectation of the scene really blowing up. I kept hearing people say that, but I wasn't really tuned in with stand-up as much as it seemed like a lot of people around me were. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen with the culture of it, and I'm a woman, so it's not like I was some huge Joe Rogan like head or anything. Like, of course, I liked him, and I've known of him for a while, but that wasn't necessarily what I was like some fan of. I wasn't like going out of my way to figure out what moves he was making next and how that could affect me. But I just went to college in Dallas, Fort Worth, and that's where I started stand up. And then like a comic, Tony Casillas was in Dallas too, and he was moving to Austin. Tony just has like a great he's touched in with like comedy, like he knows the moves to make. He's just always been doing the right thing, and like he has a great career, like everything's just been going up ever since he started. Yeah. And so when he did that, I was like, okay, well, Tony's about his business. Like, I'll just see what Tony's, he's moving to Austin. I want to move anyway. Yeah. I just gotten out of this really shitty breakup. Like, I just wanted to move, so I couldn't afford New York or LA, and Austin was 3 hours away compared to moving states away. And then I ended up moving here into like kind of like a room and like a little trap house, and then things just started going up. It wasn't until I felt like probably when I got on Kill Tony with the mix of like I had opened for Derek Poston early before I moved here, and I think that name kind of put my name on the map with the LA people, which ended up getting me the audition, I think, for the door guy spot, and then I got the job. And
hell yeah, because you were in the OG staff.
Yeah,
cool.
I was in the OG staff. The audition was nuts. Yeah, such a crazy. It was like a sports event.
What was the audition?
It was like 40 comics from Austin, all doing 3 minutes back to back to back after an hour-long secret show. So
just
it was
3 though.
Yeah,
that's
just
crazy.
3 minutes.
Wow.
And just like the open mic.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty cool
then
that it's like mimicking that.
Yeah, exactly. And so you could only bring, and if you ran the light, bro, you were done. Like, you could not do that. Ooh. And that was made very clear, that if you go on over the 3 minutes, that makes you look unprofessional and stuff. So I was like going to every show where they were like, you could do 5 minutes. I was like, I'm actually just going to do 3 and start lighting the shit out of me if I do over 3 minutes.
Oh, that's really, really smart.
Yeah, just trying to practice and make sure that I had it down. But then it's like you don't want to practice it too much because you still want your jokes to have this new joke feel and like not robotic. But I think I probably did sound a little robotic, and it's funny to think back the jokes that I did because they're not jokes that I would consider doing for that big of an opportunity now.
I think about that all the time. I feel like it's like only even in like 6-month increments you can be like that joke was so bad then. Like, what was I doing?
Or the way you deliver. Like, I have a few jokes now that I'm just like, the way I do it now, I can't believe I did it anyway else.
I have like notes in my phone where I read the way stuff was written when I first wrote it, and I was like, this is awful.
Things will pop up from when I very first started, like back in Knoxville. And it's like the way I sound, because I was also in broadcasting, in school for broadcasting. Yeah. So I'd go on stage and I would sound like that. Yeah. And so like I get nagged from like my accent being thicker on stage and like talking slower. But if you heard the way I sounded when I was in Tennessee, it'd be like, it's like very open mic. Yeah. Like I'm reading it off a prompter.
That's how I sounded at the beginning too. I feel like that was from teaching probably. Like it was broadcasting for you, but I used to teach, so I had to be all like, organized and shit. And then I was like basically felt like I was reading a script when I started. And then I was like, that's not funny. Nobody wants to
I did
hear
this
that.
weird higher pitched Valley Girl kind of accent too. Like I can't watch old clips. Yeah. Like I recorded my very first open mic ever just because like my friends didn't believe I would do it. Yeah. And so I recorded it, I did this really weird, like, higher pitch, like, valley girl thing, like, and I sound, it's bad.
Yeah.
It like makes my skin like feel bad.
I recorded mine. My first open mic, I got lucky though, because I feel like it was like the very first one I ever did was the Buzzmill one, which is like one of the better ones you can do. And sometimes I think about like literally even just the next mic I went to, I was like, I think if this would have been my first one, I probably would have just been like, no, not doing this.
Yeah.
Like to the 4 comics in the back that hate you because they don't know you.
I quit comedy in Austin for like sick. I got in a bad relationship, but I quit because it was just like the open mics it was a much different scene.
Yeah.
Like the open mics were brutal. Like, and it was like really only open mics for a long time, and everyone kept talking about how Austin's gonna blow up, it's gonna get bigger, all these clubs are gonna open, and all the shows. I kind of miss the way there were shows everywhere. Like not just the clubs, they had all these like randomly produced shows at all of these bars that were really good. There's a couple that were really good. Yeah, because
now there's a lot of that, but it's really hit or miss on who they're bringing out.
Right.
Crowd wise.
But I've been hearing like, Maggie Mays is a bar and Leo Canoptica is making that fucking like
we were just talking about
consistent audience.
Isabella's new show, Pony Room Show.
That room is cool.
The room is cool. Yeah, I just did it last night.
I did it last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe. And it's such a cool little room.
Yeah, I love a little room.
And we were just saying it has like still that bar feel because it's like
a karaoke
a bar, but it's
room.
like, it's like the size of like this. So even with not that many people, like laughs are huge. So it was
and people
little
are excited
rooms,
to be there.
Big dicks.
Yes.
Who's with me?
Right here.
Who's with me, girlies? All in.
All in.
Okay, cool. We're gonna edit that.
We're gonna clip that.
Yeah.
Put it in.
Actually,
I can't
highlight
stop
it.
staring at your fucking glasses.
No, it's amazing. I hope nobody takes their glasses off this whole time.
I got them for $1 at a Mexican flea market.
Incredible.
Oh, and I also got a pair of jeans that make my ass look crazy.
Incredible. Nice. At a Mexican flea market?
Yeah, I love Latino women.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Love Latino women. $1 sunglasses and jeans that make your ass look fat.
Speaking of fat asses, that's kind of Liz's brand, right?
That's my brand.
Yeah. You want to talk to us a little bit about PAWG life? What is that?
Okay, so thank you so much for asking,
You're welcome.
Kylie.
You're welcome. I know it's important to you.
Yeah, it is my culture. But, okay, so I've always been big, right? Like my whole life I've been like a bigger girl. And I had a friend, I have a friend who is in porn. And she one day was telling me I recently lost like a lot of weight, but I'm still like thick and stuff. But when I was bigger, she was telling me one day, because she's a bigger girl too, and she does porn, and she was telling me that like she does PAWG porn. And I was like, what is that? And then I remembered this video of there's a dude that's like explaining, he's like, I like a thick PAWG, PAWG. Badass white girls.
Hell yeah.
And that's like, once she explained to me like what a PAWG is, that there's a fat ass white girl.
I belong somewhere.
I'm like, yeah, like, well, it's also just funny word. Yeah. And because I remember talking to her about it, and she was saying she does PAWG porn. And I never really watched porn because every girl looks like, I mean, if these skinny little white girls are fucking these huge black dudes, it looks like assault. Yeah. Like it's not, I'm not trying to watch white dudes fuck. That's horrifying. So,
real.
I'm watching these black dudes rail these tiny women. It looks horribly uncomfortable. So I'm like, where are these big chicks? Like, I want to see me in there, And once I started looking it up, I was like, wow, I love porn. Like, porn's hot. Like,
it's actually so beautiful.
Yeah, it's actually super, like, hot, and I totally get why guys jerk off to it. And, but when it's these little tiny women, like, it was scaring me. Like, it made me really feel uncomfortable. That's awesome. Then I was just like, I started talking about it on stage and making jokes about it online. And then, I think the PAWG, the booty hunter. Yeah. Now everybody is. Everybody's mentioning PAWG shit to me.
Yeah.
It's been fun, but
you've been consistently pushing it like for a long time though. Like I feel like it's been in your Instagram stories for a while. Like,
I've been saying
I've
been saying PAWG stuff for a while, which is why I think because there's something about like being slutty that is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even funnier because like I think it's funny to be a slut, and then if I do slutty stuff online, like I'm like ha ha ha, but then guys are like, whoa, and they don't think it's funny because they are like horny about it,
right? Yeah.
And that's even funnier to me. But it's this mix, it's just this fucked up thing in my brain that I'm like, I think it's funny to be a slut. Guys think I'm a slut when I'm being a slut, and I think it's funny that guys think I'm a slut for being a slut. So it's just
like
this
a private,
fun little
it's like a private
runaround.
joke for you that they're not in on, and that makes it kind of more fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I do feel insecure because sometimes like women will hate on me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, really, I should be like, fuck those bitches. Like they don't know me, but really, it does make me feel. And I don't want people to think
that's their own insecurities, though.
Yeah, but then it becomes my insecurity as well because I'm like, am I being a slut for attention? I'm like, yeah, but I do everything for attention.
We're comics.
So, like, I'm like,
yeah.
And when I'm not being a slut, it's for attention. Like if I'm going to church, I'm gonna post it for attention. You know,
yeah,
like
real.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't do any porn or anything like that, but I do like to kind of.
Don't sell yourself short, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
I do also think when you're a girl in comedy, unless you go up on stage and just fully dress like a dude every time you go up there, dudes are gonna be like, she's a slut.
Yeah.
You get as a girl comic, you just get
that's
called
what I'm
a slut
playing
for
off of.
Yeah, so it's like, why not?
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to play off of. Is like I have jokes talking about like female comics sometimes fuck bookers to get shows and headliners. Like I have jokes talking about all that because it is something that affects my life. Like, you know, and like they're in every industry, women are kind of like it's understood that women,
position,
they can use sexuality to get stuff, even if it is going to be shortly lived.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But like most women know that doesn't work out like that. Some women just go for it and they use their sexuality to do things, but most women who actually care about whatever they're working on don't do that because they know it could fuck up whatever they're working on.
Right.
So I like to make jokes about like, because I mean, any dude that knows me knows I'm the last girl to fucking try and actually fuck you. You know, like I'm never.
Well, it's like Quinn always says on here too. She was like, first of all, I wouldn't fuck most of these guys with somebody else's pussy. So
no,
like
not someone else's pussy and a gun to my head.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. With someone else's pussy
not doing
is a wild thing to say.
And it's so true.
She always says
that's amazing.
But it doesn't matter.
No, yeah, even like with some of the guys that I'm like, damn, this guy's kind of hot or cool or whatever, I'm like, I'm not trying to, I would only be slutty to some guy that I know I'm not going to fuck because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's like reverse sexual harassment, which I love.
Feminism at its finest.
Yeah,
really.
it's feminism at its finest. It's like, it's what's funny is like, if you start sexually harassing a dude and they like, if they get like offended by it, every dude's gonna be like, you're gay. Yeah. It's so I don't actually like if I can feel body language and feel if somebody's being uncomfortable. And like I hate when women act like they can just do that. But I will like make jokes about me being sexual to a dude and they'll be like, oh, gross. Like most of my guy friends are like, stop saying that.
Yeah.
I would never like touch a dude's thigh or something. Like I see women do that sometimes though, and like talk about like, ooh, I want to fuck you, like to guys, and it's like, are you joking? Like either way, it's too much.
I used to have a friend that was like that, and I would be like, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It is funny when you talk about the reverse things. I had a guy friend that used to help with this podcast before we had the studio, Caleb, and he was talking about he was out at like a club one night and some girl literally like walked up to him and just like grabbed his junk, and he was literally like, and he just like stopped though, and he was like, hey, I'm not upset, but I just want to talk to you about the fact like if I would have come up and done that to you, I'd have been kicked out of here.
You would have been blackballed.
And,
yeah,
and
for
it's
real.
like he was like, you can't just like do that to people.
No,
like,
it's crazy.
But it's true. It's like she wasn't gonna get in trouble for that. Like, and anybody with him probably was gonna be like, "What, bro? You gay? You didn't like her touching your balls?"
Yeah, exactly. That's what's like crazy, and I do think it's this like hilarious kind of like revenge thing because dudes like forever, like for a long time, our grandmothers would be like, well, he groped me, but that's being a secretary. Like, it's like so crazy. So I do think it's funny for me to kind of push this boundary, and I don't feel really much guilt about it because also, like most of the men in my life do feel comfortable being frank with me about way more than I want them to be. So I know they would tell me if it was uncomfortable.
Yeah, obviously.
I have this like one great aunt that like she talks about certain stories and like all of like I've got like genetically a hot family. It's kind of crazy, but like a lot of my they'll like talk about these like something like that, like oh that's just part of the thing, and it's just like if that if you like you have an aunt that doesn't have any stories where like they were groped or a man like grabbed their ass. I'm like damn. Fuggo for real.
No, really, no. Like the older generation is like they're just so chill about it. Like they literally will be like, oh, it's just part of the job. Like, oh, you know what? It was actually my fault. I was wearing open-toed shoes.
Yeah,
like
right.
that's
or when they talk about they're like, how did you and Grandpa meet? I'm like, oh, he followed me in his car for 13 miles and slept outside of my window.
Men aren't giving that kind of effort anymore, though.
Men really aren't.
Yeah,
people write that down.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. Yeah, somebody does have a joke about that. I'm trying to remember who, but somebody's saying that like they would just be like, yeah, my grandma met my grandpa because he would just come to his work and stare every night at her.
Yeah.
And she was just like,
somebody
okay.
Somebody quite literally just told me this story about their I forget, it was like their parents or something, and it was like that. Like he was, oh my God, it's my own grandma. She was telling me, Jesus Christ. I was like, who told me
that bitch?
Well, she was telling me, so she like had a kid with somebody else first, like my mom's mom, like, you know, whatever, that they had like a previous marriage. And then when she was getting remarried, she like didn't really want to marry the guy that she's now with, like the guy that raised me. But like she said, he was just like so persistent. And like when he was like, she was breaking up with him, and he's just like, I'll buy a house right next to yours until like we die, like until you give me a chance. And I'm like, sounds like this super romantic story, but I'm like, Dad, you're kind of stalking her. Like you're literally threatening to move in next door until she goes out with you.
There's a super fine line of being in love and being beautiful, and then being creepy and stalker.
And I was like,
and that's why toxic relationships are so common.
Well, but at the same time, now I'm sitting here like, this man was gonna buy property next to her to get attention, and I can't even get a text back. So
no, seriously,
who's really winning here?
There really is.
And real quick, none of us will like. Oh, you own property. Never mind.
Yeah, I do. And
Subtle flex again.
And I haven't had a boyfriend in like 5 years. so actually, you can be alone.
Men hate a woman on top. You know.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That's what it is.
But until you know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying. But I was gonna say, sometimes I feel like. You can be a hot woman or be an attractive woman and not get harassed. I've noticed that like dudes are just they will read into kindness hard, and it's so that's what I'm realizing, because like I never get asked out. I rarely ever get like flirted with or anything like that. Like it just doesn't happen, and I've only increasingly gotten hotter, especially within the past like year or so. I've gotten way hotter, and I've just kind of been like. Yeah. What's the deal with that? Like hotter, more confident.
You have a bit about that, don't you?
Yeah. And so like, but I'm realizing that dudes will really like, they'll just ask out the girl that seems like the least likely to kind of reject them and to be nice. And I don't come off like that at all. Yeah. And so I think that, because to your point, like your aunt who didn't get like harassed or anything like that, she might have just been nose to the grindstone and like, you know, not been fucking around saying hey to everybody and giving people hugs.
Yeah, I'm sure her lifelong roommate doesn't help either.
Okay. Yeah, that'll,
her good friend Susan. Oh, yeah. One of those.
I'm sure that, you know.
I mean, sometimes dudes will literally be like, she's not gay. Dudes will do that all the time. Like, she thinks she's gay.
She just hasn't had good dick.
Yeah, exactly. Men will really think like that. And it's like, well, I don't think you're going to help her find good dick.
No. I have this one friend, she's a bartender. I worked with at Hooters, and she's so hot, fully tatted up, gay as hell. But there was this one regular.
Happy Pride Month.
This one regular was like, I just think, how do you know you're gay? How do you know you just only had bad dick? And she goes, oh, I've been ran through. I like women.
That's also such an insane thing to me to say, because I've never looked at a straight man and been like, how do you know you're not gay? You've never had a dick in your ass.
Through.
You know, like, that's crazy.
That's true.
Yeah, I've never been like, do you know you're not gay? Have you been dick down? No.
Yeah. Or like, I've never met a gay dude and been like, no, you've never had pussy like this. Yeah. Like, that's insane.
I would say that to Dylan Carlino.
You would say that to Carlino.
I'm Dylan, are we sure?
Quinn just keeps yelling at that man. She's like, if you get any hotter, I'm going to kill myself.
I know. He is ridiculously hot.
I'm in love with Dylan Carlino.
Send it to him.
Yeah, he'll love that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. We were talking about that. I was like, the hottest comics here are the gay men. Do you know Greg Phelps, too?
Greg Phelps, yeah.
I was like, why is he walking everywhere looking like a movie star? Like, I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's crazy.
And Colton Dowling.
Yeah.
Dude, gorge.
Yeah. These fucking gay men here.
Yeah.
Wild. And
a lot of them are questionably fruity and attractive.
Yeah.
Dylan he's tempting us all with his straight kind of attire.
Yeah, he's been wearing, the other night he walked into Sunset, backwards hat, chain, and black t-shirt.
I said, you're doing that to me
on purpose, Dylan.
The chain and the black t-shirt is
backwards hat, Dylan Carlino, get out of my fucking face.
I'm sending him this whole thing.
I like this. Do you guys sexually harass men as much with any other guests?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought I felt special.
Well, so far, since me and Quinn started doing this together, you're only our second guest.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So it's Dylan. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys normally do one-on-one kind of thing?
Yeah, we've been doing it like back and forth.
Nice.
Especially now that we've it's like in a studio.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so we kind of do an episode just us, and then we bring somebody on next time.
I love that.
Yeah, because we come on here alone and just basically trauma dump and laugh at our own lives for a little bit, and then we bring in guests to break up that.
Nice.
One thing I think I'm like, that's always very interesting to me with you, with like how quickly like the mothership, everything happened, your growth like in the scene, is the fact that you're sober.
Yeah.
You've like been moved to Austin sober, like been sober from
well,
the
I
jump.
haven't drank. Right now I'm not smoking either. It's been like almost 2 weeks of no smoking.
Oh wow. Yeah, because you quit like nicotine and everything. You've like progressively just like got out all these vices.
Yeah,
right?
so the timeline is like 5 years ago I stopped drinking, and I've been doing stand-up for like 5 years. So I haven't had literally any alcohol whatsoever in 5 years. Because some people will be like, oh, I quit drinking except for wine at night. And it's like, no, like for real, I haven't drank at all. And but then for 3 years in Dallas, 3 to 2 years in Dallas doing stand-up, I was completely sober, no weed, no alcohol, but I was like vaping, like nicotine. Yeah. But then I moved to Austin, and I was still vaping, but then I started smoking weed because it's like, I mean, it's rampant here. Right, it's crazy. Yeah. And I didn't want to start drinking again. I knew that was going to be a bigger problem than the weed. And so, yeah, I'm such an addict. Like, I have to balance shit out. If I'm completely sober, I'll either start eating or like fucking dudes or like overworking out, you know. So I had to really keep a tab on myself and like, you know, exercise and just take care of myself.
Yeah, find like healthy outlets.
Yeah. But then, so I was smoking like, once I started smoking here, I was smoking every day for like, you know, the past 2 or 3 years that I've lived here. But recently I've just started craving this like clarity. Like, and I'm so much better socially when I'm not high. Like, it's not like I'm like unfunny or whatever. Like, I can do sets high, like, and be fine, but I'm just really here, you know? Like, I'm really able to listen and not be kind of drifting off into other thoughts. Like, I'm really, and then if I say something stupid, I know that was all me. Like, it wasn't me because I'm smoking weed and I have a fucking problem, or like, I know it's me. Yeah. And so, you know, and I've been dabbling like with mushrooms a little bit while trying to like get off, and, you know, just to be real, like for the past 2 weeks, every once in a while, somebody gave me this like tincture of weed. I gave all of my weed and my stuff to my roommates. Yeah. But this little tincture of weed, and a few of the rougher nights, like where my issue is like I'm craving the nicotine so badly, because I would smoke blunts, like big backwood blunts. Gotcha. So like the nicotine was a harsh hit that I really got addicted to. And I had a few nights that were really rough, like where I like start crying and I'm like DMing old dudes. I'm like acting manic in every way, ordering food that just is crazy, and just everything. And so a few nights I've like put some of the weed tincture in water, and then I'm just kind of like at home like, but you kind of have to go through that really shitty part every time you try and quit, or else, you know, like, you know, if you cave, you're not going to quit.
You were just, because I obviously only met you like a little over a year ago, and so I just watched when you were like quitting nicotine, and I really appreciated how like that you were like giving the updates and being honest about it, because like I'm so addicted to vaping right now, and it's like every time I think about quitting, I think about how when it just dies for 2 hours that I'm literally a mega bitch, and I'm like. But it's like it's nice to watch that and be like, oh, it's gonna be terrible, but then be like, okay, it was this many days, and now like I'm okay today, like and like to see that it's like, okay, it's gonna be bad,
so gnarly,
because I will be quitting.
Nicotine is the worst one. Yeah, like I mean, I just said, I haven't drank in 5 years. I quit smoking weed. Nicotine is the hardest thing to quit. My brother quit cocaine easier than he quit nicotine.
Dude. That's what I hear.
Like, it's so gnarly, and like the thing is, it's not even like. Like, I guess I have some physical things, but, you know, like, all of us work out. You can kind of get through the physical stuff, like, with sweating and just, like, feeling better physically. But, like, you're so mentally dependent on having something hit you and feeling a different way.
Fidgeting and shit. It's, like, or oral fixation.
Exactly.
All of those things.
And you go through this intense discomfort of just being, like, like, what am I doing? What are you, like, it's like OCD kind of feeling of just like something's not right. Yeah. And you literally have to just sit in it. Like, you just have to go through. Yeah. And like, that's why I'm so glad, like, I have people around me that are so nice and like care about me, because you can't go through stuff like that alone. Like, you can't, like, that's why it's so hard. Like, my brother, when he got sober, he was living in an apartment alone in Chicago without his family and working a night job. Yeah. So he was just like, literally, like, that's a plan for, you know, killing yourself. Like, that's literally just a disaster. And so, like, I'm glad that, like, you know, my roommates, like Chandler Rohn, great comic, like, he doesn't drink or smoke or do anything. I mean, he does vape, but I was able to talk to him and just be like, I'm feeling like this, blah, 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 and just to get it out, like, just so that you can, like, you got to have some friends that you can vent ad nauseum to, who will just listen and like not make it about them. Because like sometimes you just got to get it out and feel heard, and then they're like, yeah, but you can make it through. Like, you can do this. And then you know, you wake up the next day and you're like, I'm so glad I didn't do it. Because during the day for me, it's easy to like not, or it's easier to not smoke or, you know, do anything because I'm busy and I feel good with the sunshine. But, you know, I'm so used to after my shows, I have this ritual of like rolling up, smoking a blunt, like, you know, the nicotine and everything. So at night it gets gnarly.
Yeah.
But recently, you know, I'm almost 2 weeks in and like, actually I think today might make 2 weeks in. And yeah, and I'm like, I feel fine. You know, yesterday I'm sitting in Mitzi's with everybody smoking and stuff. And,
yours fine.
you know, I felt like, oh man, I wish I kind of could. But at the same time, like, I feel confident in why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to feel a reason.
Do you think it'll be forever that you're going to quit smoking weed?
I don't know. The thing is, I've thought about kind of going back. The main thing, like, I'm so much richer now that I'm not smoking weed. Like, I'm not buying blunt wraps all the time. I'm not buying weed. Like, I
weed's
feel like,
expensive.
I just feel like I don't.
That was just the guiltiest vape hit I ever had in my life. I just want you to know. I was like, I picked it up and I was just like, fuck, I suck.
No, the thing is, like, you can't. That's my thing. Like, I wanted to quit smoking weed and like quit definitely smoking blunts and stuff for a while, but you can't do it until you're like feeling ready, like for real.
Well, that was my thing. I never wanted to be, so I've dated people that have a lot of different substance abuse issues, right? And like one of my biggest pet peeves is people just like, because I know it's hard in having that, but it's like I don't want to be one of those people that's just constantly talking about how I want to quit if I'm actually making a plan to do it. So like, you know, I'll be around people always being like, oh, I want to quit vaping, and I was like, I'm not trying to quit. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and like pretend, because that's more. I don't want to be more annoying of constantly being like, I'm quitting, and then you see me with my vape every
Here's
5
the
seconds.
thing.
Well,
So
not
it's like,
even
once I'm ready, I'll do it.
Not
Like,
even annoying. I think it's
to myself.
Exactly. Well, like it's not even about being annoying to yourself or anything, but you're breaking a promise to yourself every time you don't do it, and then you don't trust yourself. You don't feel like you can, and that lowers your self-esteem. And lowering your self-esteem makes you feel like you need nicotine to be cool and to fidget with. Because like really there is when you have to fidget with something and to be around people in public, you're lowering your self-confidence about just being able to sit in a room and be you. Yeah. You know, like last night I'm in Mitzi's chilling, everybody's talking to each other, all these celebs and stuff, and I'm just like, you know, I don't want to walk up and start talking to people, so I'm just sitting there. Normally that's when I would kind of like nervously roll a blunt and start smoking, but I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here until somebody comes talks to me. Yeah. I mean, I'll look at I'm definitely using my phone more now.
I mean, it's just a situation too that you should just like sit in like how cool that is to like look around and just be
be instead of
in that moment.
And then you can be confident about the fact that you even did that. You know, like so that's the thing that for me, I'm definitely like, I'm going to LA in July to do some shows, and I'm like, I got on Skankfest this year, so I'll be going to Vegas, and so I'm like, you know, if I end up smoking, like, it's not the end of the world at those places. Like, now I'm trying to prove to myself that if I do start smoking again, I know how to quit. You know, like, I can take breaks. And because the main thing is I don't want to feel like I'm doing it every day. I don't want to feel like it's like if it was starting to feel like something I had to have, or I would start freaking out at the end of the night, you know? And, I don't want that at all, because I am super like manic-y, and I can get really obsessive about stuff.
Something you said about that actually that really I'm glad you said, because it resonated with me. And
Hilarious
I know you and I have talked about some of these. Yeah, very serious talk here. But we were talking about how if you don't have this one thing, you like go into the other avenues of like just other self-destructive things, right? Whether it's like men or whatever else. Totally. And I used to always say that I didn't think I had issues with like getting addicted to stuff, because I could just dabble in anything and not really have a problem. And then when I was bodybuilding, I quit drinking for like 3 years just for that. But I realized now, like in therapy, that it was like I was in this like super toxic relationship then. So she was like, you were still getting that like dopamine high from that. And then it's like I noticed when I don't have like a piece of shit man ruining my life, I'm like, then I'm drinking way more. It's like there's some kind of vice. Like my therapist literally made a joke when I started vaping. She's like, I think I'd rather you be sucking that than like bad dudes, to be honest. Like, so true. Like, you know, she's real though.
What the hell? That's
sobriety is like, it's one of those things like for me, I am the kind of person that I can't just have one drink and be done. But I'm in a situation where I can do that every night. And to me, like, I have a friend that she's very similar to me personality wise, and just completely went sober one day. I went back last time I went back to Tennessee for Thanksgiving. She's like, oh, I'm not drinking anymore. I was like, oh, since when? And then she's like, I've not drank for like 6 months. And I was like, oh, is that hard? Like, are you going to AA? She goes, no, I really just woke up and decided it wasn't for me. And it wasn't one of those things. Because like she was one of those, she's similar to me. She's like, oh, I don't know if I'll drink this month. And like she wouldn't. And it's like, but like would go back to it because like she didn't feel like she had a problem. But she was like, you know, and then she talked to me. I called her on the phone like maybe 2 weeks ago, because I was like, I always say like, oh, I don't think I'm going to drink anymore, because like I have terrible anxiety when it comes to drinking, but it's like not all the time, but when it hits, it's so bad. But she was just like, you know, here's the thing is like, you like, she goes, I really just woke up one day and it was like, that is enough. And she's like, and you can't put that time frame on yourself, but she was like, it was one of those things where she was like, I was doing self-abandonment by, not just letting it go. And she was like, I would be like, oh, I don't know if I want to drink anymore, but if I don't drink and everyone else is, they're going to say something. And she goes, and I started doing it. I noticed I just didn't feel like drinking those 2 times. No one said anything about me not drinking. Not one person.
Yeah.
And she goes, I think in the time, because she's been sober for almost a year now, but she goes, in the time that I've done that, she goes, I think I've gone out and maybe that's happened twice. And it's always by someone who's just like blackout drunk and wanted to buy shots. And I was like, I don't want a shot.
Yeah.
And she goes, and they're always very nice about it. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. My bad. Like, they never force me. She goes, this like thing that people do, like, oh, I'm scared if I go out drink, everyone's going to be mad at me or like try to make me drink.
Sometimes people do that shit, but I think that just is always an insecurity
They're
of
always
yourself.
alcoholics.
Yeah, people don't want, it's because they know they shouldn't be doing it and they don't want to be doing it alone.
Yeah,
That's what that
real.
is. So.
But I would even say, like, the more you can have to go through positions like that and, like, survive that, you feel more confident about yourself, and that's, to me, that's the name of the game. Like, I'm just trying to feel as confident being me as possible because that's been a struggle my whole life. And then if you feel comfortable literally just in your own skin as you are, come as you are kind of shit, like, nothing can really fuck you up, you know, like, because no matter what you end up doing, you're doing you know, and it's not like you're chasing some life that isn't yours, like, and I think that what your friend said is definitely
and
true.
The thing is, the
me.
real treat about it is I think that I'll get to be just as annoying about being a sober person as I am about being a partier.
Oh, you can still make everything about you.
I can still be obnoxious.
You can totally.
I can still. I don't think I'll lose that part of myself. I think that's what.
I don't think you're able to.
Yeah,
I know.
That's exactly who you are.
That makes me feel so much better.
This is a self-help podcast now. I don't know if you guys knew that.
As long as I
we
get to
lured
be
you
the
under
most
false
obnoxious
pretenses.
No, I
myself.
love this. I love conversations like this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being funny all the time.
Yeah, I feel you.
And also, like, this is just, like, real. I feel like it's a part of something that I am very proud of about myself and that I do work hard for that I never really talk about because it is, like you said, like, you don't want to be annoying about it. I'm also never trying to convince anybody to be sober. That's so not my business. It's crazy. And then also, like, you cannot make somebody get sober.
Yeah.
Like, they have to want it themselves.
And understanding everyone's relationships with those things is different. Like, I had some friends that, like, would get sober, and then it's like, if you were somebody who even had, like, one margarita a week, suddenly they were just like, that's so bad for you. And it's just like, they have a different relationship with it than you would. No. I'm actually better than you right now. So
I mean, I feel that internally constantly,
yes.
but I don't ever say
true.
anything. Yeah,
true.
it is. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Even before I quit drinking, it just was. But just always been better than everybody.
I will say you pivot here, but you mentioned that you moved to Austin after a bad breakup, and I feel like that's everyone's to Austin pipeline. Like everybody, I feel like everybody I've met here, we all got here because some like bad breakup happened or something traumatic. It's like that's why this is like a city full of just like people that are just like traumatizing each other.
Traumatizing and trying to fuck everybody.
Yeah. So you moved here single then. And you said you've been single most of the time you've been here.
I've been single the whole time. I dated somebody very briefly at the beginning when I got a job at Mothership, but it was just kind of me being like, I was trying to get myself out there to date. Yeah. And then it was right when the Mothership, I got hired and everything. And I was I think I was already talking to him during when I got the job. And then once the job happened, I was like, oh, bitch, like, he was a regular dude. Like, he didn't understand entertainment life or anything. And so I was just like, oh, there's no way. And then I didn't feel in love. Like, I just can't be in any relationship right now unless I'm like, oh, this is so important to me.
Right.
Because all I care about is my job. Yeah, like, that's just genuinely all I care about. Like, you know, it's unfortunate, like, Miss Ma'am's not getting a lot of action down there, but I'm crushing it.
Yeah.
You know, she's not getting crushed, but I'm crushing it. Like,
were you doing much, like, trying to date here then at all? Like, have you had much, like, dealing with the Austin dating scene, or have you pretty much stayed away from it?
So I was, like, on online dating for a little bit here, like, when I first moved here. Bad. Oh, it's a nightmare. The online dating's psychotic. Like, everybody should just get off of it. It's crazy. Unless you're, like, a loser, then you should be on online dating because that's where everybody is who's a loser.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we are attractive women who are constantly out and about and meeting people and talking to people. Like, we don't need to do that. It's subjecting yourself to weird judgment and like feelings about like, and also like, I would realize that because I grew up in the generation, all I really know is online dating. Like I never really tried, like nobody in my generation was asking people out in real life. Like it's all DMs, it's all what's your kick? Like I know y'all remember that.
Snapchat.
Like, yeah, exactly. And so Like
fuck Kick.
Yeah, I know, right? Kick. Like that was us. We went through that.
I feel like I didn't really
so
do
no
Kick,
wonder we're like all autistic and don't know how to talk to each other.
I'm traumatized by Kick.
Oh, of course. No, same. Like I was like, oh my God, my parents found my Kick one day.
Did they make you read it out loud in front of them? My parents did that.
Oh my God.
Oh no, bitch. My mom,
never
I
had
would
Kick,
be dying.
I'm a little older though.
My parents printed it out and made me read my Kick messages out
my God.
in the living room.
If my parents printed it out, it would have been a crime for child pornography.
The worst part is I had to Google how to sext. I like copy and pasted sext.
The stories you've told on here, that does not shock me.
And then I read it out loud. My parents like, where did you get that idea? And I said, Google.
Are you guys how old are you, Liz?
27.
Okay, yeah, you guys are like the same age. So was your generation, that sounds so crazy to say. Sorry. Were you in the age group that still was fucking with chat roulette? Did you guys do that shit?
No, I was groomed by a pedophile in Omegle.
Ooh.
For like a year.
That's
is that
so
fun?
specific.
Josh is laughing pretty hard.
For a year?
Yeah, I was groomed. I didn't realize I was groomed until like earlier this year. Cause like, okay, this is actually crazy.
Perfect story for this. This is what we wanted.
Right, yeah. So Omegle is chat roulette, essentially. Okay. It was just like a different thing.
That shit I could not believe I was on at that age. It's crazy.
Dude.
I saw so many dicks.
Like, that was a birthing place for pedophilia.
Yeah.
Like, it was so crazy. I was on it. All my friends, like you just said, all of our friends were on it.
We were like in middle school watching.
It's just, you know what it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's random chatting with it's
mostly
video chatting with completely random people, mostly old men. Horrible sex stuff happening, crime after crime.
Yeah.
You would just like see somebody, you'd see a dick, and you'd be like, ah, and then like skip. I met this dude who didn't have his dick out. Total green flag. And
the bar's in hell. But.
And he like wasn't a million years old. Looking back, he was probably like 30. But like 13, 14. Yeah. And so I was there, but I, being the born to be slut woman that I've been, was like, I'm 21.
Yeah.
And so in my head, literally, I'm not fucking around until this year. I believed that I tricked him into thinking I was 21.
Oh, he definitely knew you were.
I know. And so that's what like blew my mind. I like called my brother. I was like crying and freaking out because I was like, I had a lunch with one of my friends and he was talking about a time when, you know, he was molested as a kid. And I was just like, yeah, well, I guess I had something weird happen, like, you know, with it. But he was, you know, I lied to him. My friend was like, you know the difference. Like, think about it now. You're almost 30.
Yeah.
You know the difference between a 13-year-old and a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And I was just like, I was like, oh my God, I was groomed. And I like called because my parents found out and like it was this whole thing. I got in trouble. Like I felt like I got in trouble because my phone got taken and like all that. But nobody sat me down and was like, hey, that's a pedophile.
Yeah.
Like you've been messaging a pedophile for like a year.
Were you guys just messaging back and forth the whole time?
Yeah, he lived in like Connecticut or something. I wish the fuck I could dox his ass because obviously, but like at the time I was like, you guys just ripped my boyfriend away from me. Like, I am in love. And, like, Daddy, it's, like, crazy. It's, like, but at the time, that's what it felt like because I was 13. Like, I was a little baby.
That's
like,
crazy.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I was groomed on Omegle, yes, to answer your question. That is my only memory of that
type of thing.
App.
Was that just was there just one
website.
Day then that like when that blew up, like you just never talked to him again, or
my
did somebody
brother
go off on him? Like...
My brother borrowed my iTouch, which was where all the sexting and everything was happening. And my brother was like, okay, this is horrific. He was like, you know, 16 or 18 or whatever, and he like obviously had to show my parents. Like at the time I was like, how could you do that?
Yeah.
But
your brother's like, I'm trying to save you.
Yeah, literally. And I think he like called the dude and was like, hey, like I will murder you in your like I will find where you live and kill you.
Yeah.
And not knowing that this guy's actually older than my older brother, who in my head is like the oldest person on earth.
Yeah.
When you're 13, your older sibling is like the most adult. And then my parents found out and like then the cops were involved. And I don't know what. I think he kind of just got away with it or whatever. But for like the longest time, I was under the impression that I was like a slut.
Yeah.
And that I tricked him and that I'm this like bad girl.
Yeah.
But really, like, he bad boy. He's like, bad boy. He bad boy.
That's crazy that you like thought that for so long.
So long, right?
I mean,
that's why I'm like,
that's
glad
like
to talk about
half
it.
your life at this point.
Yeah.
Literally, like more than half.
And you're like, well, he didn't know. That's
he didn't know, and that's my fault. And I've always just been the slutty thing. Literally, I was groomed. He brought up every sexual thing we ever did. You know, like it wasn't my idea to do any of that. I didn't know anything.
You had no ideas.
Yeah, I'm like, my butthole. Why would you want to see my butthole? That's gross. But I love you, and you just show people your butthole when you're in love.
I've said that like last week.
Seriously, who the fuck wants to see my butthole? That's disgusting. But
what you do in love, you know?
But I guess it's just a really nice butthole.
It is funny how those things are, though. It's like mine was not anywhere near that bad. But like when my first boyfriend in high school, I was 15 and he was 19, and like even just that was like at the time like nothing that even seemed weird about that at all to me, because I was just like, oh, like, you know,
like, I'm a grown
he's
woman.
fresh out of high school, yeah, like I'm an adult, and like I'll tell people that when I got older, and they're all just like, that's a little
crazy.
weird. Like, and I can remember literally being a senior, and all of us were talking about going on our senior trip. And by this point, that guy was like turning 21, and they're like, it's gonna be so cool when redacted name can come on our senior trip and buy all our booze. And I was just like, hell yeah! Like I'm not like, this is weird that he wants to go on this senior trip.
Hey, that's bad.
That bad.
I have a joke. Well, I have like a loose joke about it, but it's like
rude boy.
Where I was from, we had this thing. I guess I shouldn't say the name, but it was like this Christian affiliated club that would come into our schools, and the guys that were in it, like the leaders, they were like 19, 20. They were freshmen, sophomores in college, and they would all hit on these 16, 15-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was just like, yeah, I am kind of mature for my age. And I would, there was like one specific, they would like Snapchat you.
No,
and, like,
for real.
all this stuff. And it's like, to me, it's like, I mean, I would still consider myself to have a relationship with God, to what it may be, but it's like there's so much evil that comes into organized like religion.
Yeah,
but it's like I remember that being specifically what it was, and where I was from is like these like Christian affiliated leaders coming in from their college and being like,
so crazy,
anyway,
man.
I'm gonna play this like Wonderwall rendition of Our God is an Awesome God, and then we're gonna fuck in my Forerunner. In the back.
Exactly.
And you're like, this is beautiful, and this is what God wants, actually.
Wow.
It's nuts. It's actually nuts to look back and be like, oh my God, everybody's a fucking pedophile.
With these origin stories, I just think that
we
all deserve to be reverse harassing men. Like,
no,
you know,
exactly.
we deserve it.
We're getting our lick back,
right?
bitch.
Terrorize these men back. It's time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And also, dude, like, that dude on Omegle was white. And that was the only white dick I've still ever seen in my life.
Really?
Truly. And I think that is a huge reason
you're like, I hate
why I don't fuck white guys. Because if I saw another peak dick again, I'd be like, I'm just a girl. I'm just a child. Exactly.
He's going to want to see my butthole.
Exactly. I don't do anal. And it's like every white guy would just be like, dude, I'm not. That sucks. Well, I wasn't going to ask, but that is a bummer. I just, in my head, every white dude loves anal.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well, because every
You
white
guys
dude's
fuck
a little
white guys.
gay.
Oh yeah,
right?
They do.
Yeah. Black guys never ask for anal.
guys
That's insane.
Well, I always fuck guys that I think are a little fruity, so they're like, no anal, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I have two other holes that are way less gay.
Yeah, that's true.
Why you wanna fuck the gayest hole?
That's actually the poop hole. I don't know if you know that.
This fucking guy that was like, we talked
I have
about.
Crohn's.
No, literally, I have hemorrhoids.
White men are so
Remember
insane
that.
it's like about your ass that like this dude that like went crazy on me. Long story short, we already talked about on here, but like he's kicked out of my bar, the bar I work at now, because he was like harassing me.
Banned.
But the messages he was sending me that night, he's in the middle of like sending me a psycho rant, being mad, and then he goes, "You're being an asshole," and then sends me a text right after that says, "Even though you never let me touch your asshole," in the middle of a fight. And I'm like, you literally have to bring up that I won't do anal with you in the middle of a psycho rant. Like that is an insane thing to say. Like that's how anal dedicated they are.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy thing to do in the middle of that.
Yeah, I feel really like sorry. I just feel it felt so therapeutic to tell that whole story on air, and also to kind of like I'd never said it before that I think that's why I haven't fucked a white guy.
Yeah,
but it makes a lot of sense,
it's an
right?
Exclusive. Yeah,
yeah. Like I was groomed by what I thought was a pretty hot white guy at the time.
Yeah.
But he was,
that does make sense. I mean, I have like a friend that only likes like very like femme-looking dudes, and it's because she was like assaulted by a very like manly, bearded guy, and so it's like she's like she sees them and it's like fear for her.
Yeah, exactly.
So she likes little like twinks. And that's
my
fine.
God, no, that's sick.
Yeah,
I wish I was into little twinks.
I do too.
Rip one apart, dude.
Yeah, I just can't do it.
Like a little Build-A-Bear, get his stuffing everywhere.
Yes. Quinn, your analogies are just like so on point and so far off from anything that makes sense.
Shit all the time.
It's so crazy. Like, it's like you wouldn't fuck somebody with somebody else's pussy. It's like, it makes so much sense, but at the same time, it's like, that's not even something you can do.
What's wrong with me?
We were like 2 minutes into the podcast last time, and Quinn is just like, yeah, I just been letting these men treat me like a bowling ball, all 3 holes. Like, just like, and I was just like, what the fuck? Where the fuck did that go? Like, right out the gate.
That's so crazy. It's like,
strike. Am I right?
You just have that southern humor just embedded in your bones.
I always smell like a corn dog.
What? How does that have to do with anything?
Bowling alleys.
What the fuck? Bowling alleys. It's just her mind is just a game of word association.
Like,
just back
but
and
somehow
forth.
they always work. It makes no sense and work
Totally.
at the same time.
I'm waiting for one to just be like, Quinn, you lost it.
Yeah, you
but
lost
every
it.
time I'm like, damn, this bitch is she knows herself.
It'll find me. Well, there's certain comics like I don't get starstruck or anything, but it's like there's certain comics like the way their minds work. Like I've seen where people like can't speak to, like one of my friends like met like Anthony Jeselnik and he like couldn't talk and he's like I'm always cool. Like I'm always cool because like I was so weird to him because like the way his mind works is like I just understand him.
Yeah.
And then Theo Vaughn was in the green room and
you guys talk the same.
Haley and Christina were like, he's in the back and I'm like, that's cool, I can't.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be in a different room.
The world, if we shared sentences, the world would explode.
No, yeah, there was somebody told her once that she was like the female version of that, and then I found that she was like, I don't know why people always say that. I found this TikTok that was just a stream of like random weird shit he said on podcasts, and I was like, if I closed my eyes, this is Quinn after too many cigarettes. Like, I just like
he's eccentric.
He's just you say the same thing and with that
For
same
sure.
like southern ass weird shit to it.
The kind of just like it's like you're saying a fact, but in a way where you're like, I don't even know if I'm talking right now. You're like, did I say that out loud? That's like the
That's
vibe
your whole
that
stream
you're
of
getting
consciousness,
off.
yeah.
It's like, does she know that she said that out loud?
And I usually do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a fart where you're
But
like, I know I did it, but I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I couldn't help it, and it's
I was
natural.
praying it would be silent, but it wasn't, so we're all gonna smell it. Like,
Yeah.
I guess you do either way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it, just to be clear.
Yeah,
I think
same.
it's funny.
Oh, that's the whole reason
Absolutely
she's on.
hilarious.
Like, I asked her to do this podcast with me. I was like, that's what I want.
Yeah,
here,
hilarious.
Specifically. Yeah. But do you, this has been a lot of like these men did unhinged things to you. Have you ever done, I love this trend that's going around on TikTok right now where like women are just like outing themselves for the really embarrassing unhinged shit they've done to get a man's attention. Have you ever done something like that like?
Oh, like almost exclusively. I think most of my Instagram stories are part of that.
Yeah.
Because like that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like the other day I posted a video where like my friend was like hammering stuff up in her apartment and there was a screw and I was wearing like a summer dress over my bathing suit.
Yeah.
And I just like grabbed the like screw and I was like, bring, bring, like, and I like turned around to my ass and I was like, bring, bring, you know, and I just thought it was funny at the time. And then I look back at it and like all of these dudes are like, whoa, like all these chicks are like, oh shit, Liz. Like, and I'm just like, oh, I appreciate, like, it's like a compliment that they think I'm being hot.
Yeah.
But I was trying to be like ironic about how sexual the whole screwdriver thing is.
Yeah.
And then I just deleted it because I'm like, oh, I'm not trying to be like a comic who's also doing OnlyFans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not trying to actually be that. It's just I was raised Catholic, so sexuality is just so forbidden that it's like funny to me. You know, like and
Dude,
so
that
I'm
makes so much sense that you were raised Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like my parents aren't like hardcore Catholic or anything. They're just mainly spiritual people, but I was in the Catholic school system my entire life. So like any sexuality is just like, you know, we weren't allowed to show our knees or our ankles or anything. And so it's like, to me, like dressing all gaudy and like cheetah print stuff is like fun and funny and just like different.
Yeah.
And like to some people, they were around people like that their whole lives. So it's not that funny. Like it's just like that is how people are.
Right.
But to me, it's like funny and weird and like, you know, I didn't have any like aunties that were like wearing huge hoop earrings or anything. Like I had very like conservative family members and like, to me, I like being the one that kind of like breaks out.
Yeah.
But I forget that is its own culture. Like it is its own thing. Like is being.
Or people are like not doing it ironically.
Yeah, exactly. People who like really are like, you look great. And I'm like, well, yes. But also it's like a funny outfit in a way, you know? And I don't know. It's just this kind of like balancing act. Especially like I used to be way heavier. And so it was a little more like people be like, oh, you're brave. Like, look at you. Like you're doing this. And now I'm like, in better shape and like hotter, and I think it's kind of just like, okay, bitch, like you're like showing off the goods, and I'm like in my head I'm still kind of this like awkward fat girl, you know, and
that
so,
doesn't really leave you,
exactly,
no.
you know, so you just gotta kind of I don't know, but I'm trying not to like judge myself through any of it. I know my intentions, I know what I do with my pussy, and it's not foul play, it's not bad. I'm not doing anything unholy, you know. Unfortunately.
Not that I'm not trying, but
exactly. No, that's the truth, man. I get rejected like guys are like, I'll be like, hey, do you want to like have sex? And they're like, fuck you! I hate you, Liz! That's how they literally say to me every time.
Every time.
Every single time.
And then you're like, well, you're gay, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, well...
Oh, sorry, I can't be him.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I'm not the man of your dreams.
True. Sorry. He just wanted to see your butthole anyway, so.
I know. Yeah. And guess what? I was so gonna let him.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate. Yeah, because that's what being a little slut sometimes is. Yeah, I've gone like, well, I had sex maybe like a month ago, but before that I went a whole year without any sex.
Really?
Yeah, and I broke and I fucked this dude that I've known for forever, but it was fine. It was cool. It was actually lit as fuck if he's watching this, which he's not because he super stopped watching my stories. Am I right, ladies?
That's like the worst thing. You're like, please God.
I know. No. It was crazy because like I never even really had a crush on this guy. I had one of those nights, especially with the quit smoking and everything. Like, or I guess no, this is before I quit smoking, but it was when I started feeling like I needed to. So I was feeling a little insecure, and I was like, man, I gotta fuck something. Like I'm gonna lose my mind if I don't. So I just downloaded Bumble which I haven't had in like years now. But I was just scrolling, being like, I'll just invite some dude over, hope he doesn't assault me, and just do the best as I can. But then I saw this dude that I've known since I lived in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I never talked to him or anything, but we follow each other on Instagram, and I never see him post anything or anything like that. And I just like DM'd him, and I was like, yo. And he was like, yeah, because he's a dude.
Yeah,
and I knew that it wasn't going to be any kind, like I didn't have a crush on him. Like literally, I just never thought about this dude before.
Yeah.
And
so you're like, huh.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like,
You'll do.
That works.
Yeah.
And it did work.
And now he doesn't watch your Instagram stories.
Yeah, well, now it's just like, I think it was, both of us were just like, thank you for your service. And then we just kind of moved on because, he got shit going on. He got a baby mama drama.
Yeah.
I don't need anything to do with
don't
that.
They all?
Yeah, seriously.
It's so funny because we always talk about this, like, we'll be just talking about the shit that men are doing to us on here. And I've had people be like, aren't you scared they're listening to that? And I'm like, it's so funny that you think any man that I've been associated with still pays attention to me. Because they all
or
have
listens to this three-female podcast. Fucking Josh has his fingers in his ears.
Josh is just like rocking back and forth like Rain Man.
They don't mean it.
He put the sunglasses on because he's asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and Quinn always say our biggest accomplishment is during the episodes when we just hear Josh chuckle over there. We're like, yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not even remotely worried about it. Also, I said it was a good time. If you're wondering who it is, if you're looking for a good time in Austin, I'll send him your way. Come on.
His phone number is 5.
Yeah, exactly. My greatest eater. How did you know? How did
Quinn's
you know
like,
that's what he was?
She's like, well, I know who it is. No.
I have a Rolodex of my greatest eaters.
We actually have him here, Liz. Come on out. No, that'd be awesome.
The men I want to date with, like,
I would actually ask
are always the ones that are like, oh, Quinn, can I see you again? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
hey,
no.
I'll send you my next show. You follow me on Instagram. I'll put you in my private story. You can see me there.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see me in person.
You guys have men in your private stories? I've thought about doing that.
Honestly, the only men in my private story are gay.
Right. No, all my private stories are just like 3 homegirls that don't even do stand up.
Yeah.
My private story is like
motivational.
You have a lot
of my friends, and then it like guys that I want to see it look good, but then they get the boot really easy.
Right.
My private story is for the girls.
Yeah, I used to put guys that I was like talking to in there because I was like, oh, look how like quirky and funny I am in private, and then it was like. I realized every time that half the reasons they probably stopped liking me were my close friends.
Yeah,
I want to post like
see
sad
that.
Poetry shit
Yeah,
and
same.
movie stuff.
I post sad shit in there.
Yeah, I'm posting like
funny.
very, very like motivational, like lame kind of stuff that I wouldn't want the main to know that I feel.
That's
or
exactly
thirst traps
how
that I know my friends. It's like thirst traps I want to post, but it's like I don't want creepy guys to see it. But my friends,
I want your friends to hype me up. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and
huge.
I'm usually posting
my friends
like
never made me
sad
feel bad
lyrics about
these
dudes. Like that's usually what's happening. So I'm like, I don't need you to see that.
My friends never made me feel bad about thirst traps. It's girls that are kind of haters and guys that are yucky. So it's like it's all
which is crazy because if I see any random bitch posting a thirst trap, I'm happy for her. So I don't understand.
I know.
I love when women post thirst traps.
Me too.
I never feel any kind of like, why would she do that? But I know so many girls that are like, why is she doing that? Like blah blah blah, and they'll like send them around, and I'm like, who the fuck? I will say there has been an obsession with too many headshots. A lot of there's some chicks and some dudes that just do like it's like you guys are dropping new headshots every week.
Yeah.
And I do make fun of that.
Yeah.
But if
Where
they're
are you
sexual,
going?
I'm like, I get that.
Yeah.
I get if you want to look hot.
Yeah.
But like you got a photo shoot going every week?
I also
Crazy.
just like it's so rare for me to like one enough that I have one set that I had Dulce do for me, and I'm like I don't want to do any other ones because these work, and I'm scared to pay for other ones and be ugly. Like it's like you know what I mean? It's just
What
like, I'm
time
gonna
are we
keep
at?
Just keep them until you have to change your hair. Then
We're just now coming up on an hour.
nice.
So we killed it. But yeah,
We're crushing it.
long story short, be a slut. It's fun. And
Yeah,
hilarious.
might-
Be a slut.
And
Do whatever
hilarious.
you want.
Yeah,
It's
who
funny.
gives a fuck? In fact, Ruby Setnick, a comic that just moved to Austin, she was telling me the other
She's so
day. She's so funny. She was telling me because I was like telling her like, yeah, sometimes I get insecure that people think I'm being like a slut or whatever, and she just looked at me. She was like, being a slut isn't a thing. You can't be a slut. You just feel sexually whenever you do, and that's just the way you live.
Yeah.
Guys don't worry about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she was like
Yeah.
pissed, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like when a lesbian tells you about feminism, you're like, okay, I gotta listen.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
you
like,
know,
you're right.
You're
You're right.
You're in charge.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. She's right though.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
she is right, and that's the message I want to put out there is that who gives a hoot? There are always going to be hater girls. There are always going to be hater dudes. There are always going to be dudes that are going to try and sexualize you, even if you're not being a slut.
Yeah, no matter
even
what
if
you're
you
doing.
think you're being innocent. At least if you're going to do something, be conscious of the way you're doing it. You know.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So do whatever the hell you
So
want. Jason
true.
Musgraves.
Exactly. And if you're going to fuck a comic, make sure it's a comic that can put you on shows. Because
That's
there's
actually
no
really,
point.
That's a good
There's
point.
no point.
That's a good
I'm
point.
not saying fuck to get on shows, but if you're gonna fuck a comic, might as well make it lateral.
Yeah.
There's no point. And then also, fucking a comic that can put you on shows, that comic is less likely to start drama in the
Yeah.
scene because they got something to lose. You
From
know?
personal experience, there's nothing worse than fucking a comic that can do nothing for you.
Yeah. Samesies.
I was like, I should edit that out, but like we said, they're not listening to 3 book comic stock that are females
Bitch,
for
my
this
ex
long,
is probably listening. Watch, bitch. And you owe me money.
so pay up.
You owe me money and your haircut makes you look crazy. I seen it. You look nuts with that mustache. Literally nuts. My ex used to have dreads and was a normal guy. Now he has a handlebar mustache and shaved head. I fucked up your life. You're going crazy seeing me succeed, bitch. I love this podcast,
As
man.
he should.
I really
I'm
love
only
this.
using that clip.
No, seriously, send me that.
Yeah.
Send me that. I'm gonna unblock him, follow him,
Just send it to him.
make sure he sees it, then block him again.
Yes.
Tag
You
him.
owe me money.
How much money?
I let him borrow $100. He said he was gonna pay me back. Didn't. Now it's at 1,000.
Yeah, interest.
Interest is crazy.
Yeah.
1,000's minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
so-
there's like a trauma tax of just having to deal with it.
No, seriously.
there's
Yeah. I mean, the trauma tax, like, God.
He owes you
I
at
mean,
least $3,000.
yeah, the $100 clearly was gonna bankrupt him. So he's gonna really be. Me and Federal Credit Union are coming after this.
These broke boys be getting way too much pussy, honestly. It's wild.
Me and CarMax are coming for your fucking ass. Can't make no payments.
Liz, this has been so fun, enlightening and wholesome and ridiculous all at the same time, which is what I really like. So thank you. Do you have anything you want to plug for yourself?
Yeah, dude, come to the Absolute Show every Wednesday, 8 p.m., Black Rabbit, and check out PAWG the Booty Hunter on my page at Covered in Liz. That's my social medias, is all Covered in Liz. You can send me money anywhere. Any
Is
of
that
the
also
apps.
your Venmo handle?
Yeah, Covered in Liz, everything. You can send me money. You can send me money for that. So
In case that guy forgot how to pay you. That way I'm
yeah,
gonna make sure he
exactly,
knew. Yeah.
exactly, exactly, bitch, exactly. And by the way, favor to yourself: get rid of the handlebar mustache.
First
so
step
gross.
on the
That's
list.
insane. I'm saying that as somebody who once loved you. Ditch it, man.
And on that note, thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, all that fun stuff. Leave us a review, things that help us, whatever you want to do. We appreciate it. Bye.